What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to our weekly podcast. We are batting practice. Boys, I am so excited for the episode tonight because baseball is back. Officially back. Before we get into that, we'll talk about it. How are we feeling tonight? Are you guys ready? Baseball is here.
Baseball's here, and not only is baseball here, but the next episode of batting practice, where Nosh goes up in volume to start off the video and increases his pitch, is here, brought to you by none other than Nosh himself. Andrew, I did not go back and clip any intros
Disappointed.
from
I'm
previous
disappointed.
weeks, but I think now, after hearing it in back-to-back weeks, my
Oh,
sample size is
back to
large
back to
enough.
back.
It's my confirmation bias is there. It's been confirmed.
Yeah, I don't think
So
there's a bias there. I think it's just
we're doing
facts.
good.
Guys, I
We're
won't
doing
lie.
good.
Right before you clicked record, the what Andrew said came to
Oh,
mind.
we're rent
So it
free.
was it was it was very much so not natural. I had Andrew's comments in my head the whole time. I think it came out like three octaves lower than normal because
No,
I
Nope.
thought about it too much.
no, no. I
Maybe I
saw it
am.
on your face though.
Maybe, okay, part of the reason is these are noise canceling. So I can only like half hear
Mm.
myself talk. So I have no idea what I sound like.
That's,
Mm.
we got to get you one of those earbuds that musicians wear where they can silence, but then they can also hear
I
themselves.
need some
But you even know
feedback.
yeah, you need to know what pitch you're doing, you know? Like you
I
got to
know.
know if you're
I
hitting those
just
notes.
something comes out of my mouth and I have no clue what it sounds like.
Oh God. That's that's actually terrible.
Wait,
Hopefully.
really?
Yeah, I mean like to an extent, sure.
I'm like,
It's like
okay,
it's
okay.
muted. It's
All
muted.
right. Podcast goals. We eventually get those like my Xbox headset kind of does that, but like you with just the mic where you can also hear yourself speak in the mic as well or in the headset as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
I like
Like there are
that.
microphones that do that. There are plenty that do that. But obviously your headphones, why would you buy multiple pairs of headphones? You already have nice headphones. Sad story about my pair of headphones like that. This was probably This was over a year ago. Unfortunate timing here, but I had them plugged into my guitar amp so I could play the
Mm.
guitar and listen to it through the headphones and not annoy my apartment neighbors. And one night, had to wake up to go to the bathroom, and I left them sitting on the ground, and I straight up stepped on them and snapped them in
Mm.
half, and I've never replaced them. So there you go. My birthday's in September. It's coming up soon. Birthday gift idea.
Hey, 10,000. If we get 10,000 short impressions, you got it. You got an active audience. I'm listening.
Yeah. If everybody donates 10 cents right now.
Ooh, yeah. 10 cents.
To my
Text
headset fund?
606
Headset,
to yeah,
Jacob's headset fund.
yes, Jacob's headset fund. I tell you what,
His address is just kidding.
if you're listening and you haven't signed up for So Rare,
Yeah, yeah, right.
that's coming. That's coming.
I was actually, yeah. My poor Sorare NBA teams. Real quick before we get into baseball, NBA All-Star game happened yesterday. Guess what? Bad fan over here. Bad fan. I did not watch a single minute. I watched some highlights this morning. Don't get me wrong. I got some coverage, I got some media content, but I did not watch a single minute of the NBA All Star game. How bad of a fan am I? Call me out right now.
It's pretty bad. I saw it's pretty low scoring too.
I didn't watch a single second either.
Now,
The
did you
whole
did you get
weekend.
that joke?
The
The scoring
There's
was
a game
yeah.
to 40. There's a
it
game
was
to 40.
This-
What
there
the
must have
heck
been
kind
some
of
good
I was
basketball is
like,
defense.
that?
wait, this dude didn't pick up on the new All Star game clues.
No, I wanted to see. It was a test. It was a test
That
to see
was
if you
I
had.
honestly had no clue what you were talking about, to be honest.
Yeah, if you would have been like, oh, well, yeah, the defense was just really bad this year. It was. I
Yeah.
mean, Curry was just pulling up from half court. I don't know. The All-Star games, baseball was the last All-Star game to actually mean something when you actually playing for home field advantage in the World Series, which is honestly a crazy prize to give away, honestly, for an All-Star game. But ever since then, I feel like All-Star games just mean nothing. I mean, I'm sure it's a cool accolade for the players, but at the end of the day, I think they
Yeah,
want to
there's
win
monetary,
MVP.
there's financial benefits for the winners and stuff like that. But yeah, crazy that the team that would win, and the AL always won too, the team that
Yep.
would win the All-Star game in MLB would be the team that got home field advantage in the World Series. So, for example, if five Dodgers made the All-Star team and helped their team win the world or win the All-Star game, but then the Dodgers didn't make the World Series, that rule didn't apply to them, even though they were a big part of it. I don't know, just a very strange rule that used to exist in the MLB. But
We
I
gotta bring it
still,
back.
yeah, bring it back. What do you think?
That's the only way we can beat the
Let us
Dodgers.
know.
That's the only way we can beat the Dodgers. That's the
Yeah.
only way the Dodgers can lose.
Take away their
That's the
home
only
field
way.
advantage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
Bring
it.
it back. Bring back the rule. You heard it first.
Oh boy. Well, I still maintain to this day that baseball still has the most fun of the All-Star games, maybe the most competitive. You can say what you want
MLS.
to about it.
But MLB's really, really freaking cool too.
There's a take. MLS, let us know again in the description in the comment section. I would still say MLB. But I would also say, as MLS preseason is also going on right now, that MLB has some of, if not the best, preseason activities and games and fun stuff to do as well. And we're getting a look at that starting this week, February 20th. This
Thursday.
week, this Thursday, that's 2 days after this podcast was uploaded. Good thing we switched our upload date season 3 to Tuesdays instead of Thursdays so we can talk about it. Cubs versus Dodgers. Spring training game. Oh, baby, we're back. We're so back. Cubs, Dodgers. Are we going to get Shota versus Yoshi? Are we going to get the Japan start of dreams already? No, we're not. We're not. We're not. It's not
Wait
going
a
to
month.
happen.
Wait 1 month.
Yeah. We're not ready for that yet. But we are getting baseball back this week. Full games of MLB baseball coming at you this week. And you guys excited or what? We got Cubs versus Dodgers, my two favorite teams coming up against one another. I don't know who to root for.
Well, one's gonna lose. Think about that. One has to
It's
That
true.
lose.
is true.
So
Is
one is gonna go
there
home sad.
is there any significance, do we know, that we know of the first spring training game? Because I'm pretty sure there's only one on Thursday and then like a pretty good amount of them on Friday. So why is it that the Cubs and Dodgers are playing first on Thursday?
We got to it's a preview of the Tokyo series, man. They got that starts even earlier than opening day for the rest of everyone. They got to get everyone ready. They're shipping everyone off to Japan in a month, so I don't know. They got to get it. That's why Cubs reported earliest of any team. Their Cubs are ready. Whether their roster is, I don't know. We'll see. But they're gonna play the Dodgers right away. That's like the Packers opening against the Eagles. That's just hard. That's hard to do. We'll see. But the thing I do like about spring baseball, unlike other sports, the starters play. We get to see real action from our big names, and they get to get their reps in. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they actually play a decent amount compared to like the NFL, where you get maybe like one drive of the starters.
Maybe.
You might get half a game of the starters in the MLB, which makes for entertaining baseball right away off the bat. No pun intended.
And it's still entertaining because you're getting to see your next level of players play too, your AAA, your AA, your farm system. At least us in Milwaukee, we are lucky enough to have an enjoyable farm system to watch. Shout out to our Brewers episode last week. We didn't even talk about Jesus Mate. We
No.
didn't even talk about him last week. So there's another name we can throw into last week's episode. Um, yeah, but it's that time of year where we can see prospects like them too. We got to see our first look of Churio last year at this time of year. We got to see our first looks of Jackson Holiday, Jackson Merrill, the other Jackson tripled, Jackson's tripled. We got to see them all in spring training last year, and it was a preview for some pretty good rookie stuff to see um, the season start too. We saw Skeens, but Skeens didn't even start the year in the MLB, which is crazy. But we'll see stuff like that too. Who's going to be that next pitcher? Maybe there won't be a Skeens this year, but who's going to be the next best rookie pitcher? Will it be
Mm.
Sasaki? Will it be someone else? We'll find out. But we'll get to see a preview of them here coming up, and I'm excited. I'm excited to make content too, because once balls start getting put into play, stuff starts to happen.
Pete Alonso knows.
Pete Alonso knows. He likes hitting dongs.
It's a nice callback. There we go.
Two.
Oh,
Two.
two of them.
Two.
Two callbacks.
We never discussed a punishment for me for losing
Oh,
our
or shout out to
Agents
me.
of
Let me
Chaos.
brag.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Woo!
right.
Let's go. I got both. Did I get number one
You
for both?
Yes.
Oh,
you
I'm a
nailed
fortune
the
teller.
Agents of Chaos. Yeah.
I'm a fortune teller. Let's go. All right, you
I
maybe that means that you guys are gonna have to listen extra hard for all of my superlatives this year. I'm gonna put a
yeah.
lot of work into them. I'm gonna nail all of them. Watch, I'm gonna get them all wrong. You guys are gonna kick my butt, but at least with this, I can hold my hand that I can speak the waiver wire. I know where the free agents are going.
I don't think we ever officially mentioned it on the podcast, but in
Did
case you
not.
missed it, Alex Bregman did sign with the Boston Red Sox.
Told you.
So Andrew got Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman on the dot, and he nailed it. So shout out to you, man. That was great calls.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I
what
quick
is the
check
punishment?
going back. Andrew, obviously first place. Nash, you got second place and you're predicting, and I got last. I had it switched. I thought Bregman was
Oh,
gonna stay, and I thought Alonso was gonna go. And it was not only the reverse, but like the exact opposite the day after that we thought this was gonna happen, the opposite happened. So, hey, we'll take it. Andrew, congrats on your dub there. But that is
thank
neither
you.
here nor there because this week, well, I guess first and foremost, is there anything else you guys have on spring training other than the excitement, other than like, let's just get it to start?
Shout out to all the social media admins running all of the baseball pages. The content that they're making are amazing. Watch some amazing Instagram stories of just people running around bases. And even that, at this time of year, that's so exciting. The dirt was kicking off each of the plates as people rounded it. I don't know, those the angles we were taking look crisp. All the drills, I don't know. I hated doing drills as a kid playing baseball. Maybe you guys liked it, but watching it as a fan, I was like, yes, get those drills in. Yes, get ready for the season, boys.
Yeah, it's 2025. We have the ability for content, and that's what we're getting. The Brewers have put out some sick edits so far, and we've gotten like a week of pitchers and catchers. The one of Contreras today was crazy.
Crazy. I was gonna
It's
Crazy.
say
Well
amazing.
done. I'm
we're
like, man, I need to learn how to do that because that looks
right.
so good.
We're in spring
They heard me.
training for baseball, but man, the social media teams are in mid-season form already.
Yeah, yeah. They don't take days off. There's no rest
No,
days.
no spring training for social media.
That would actually be awesome. They should have that where like they get warmed up too. We need that. We need
Yeah.
that.
For
Oh,
sure.
Podcast spring
they
training.
they are warm and they are ready to go. And it's great because they're keeping us up to date with our teams. With things, for example, you'll get unfortunate things like injuries. You'll get unfortunate things like trades. Um, but they'll also keep you up to date with signing new players. And of course, once the season starts, with the home runs and stuff that you're gonna hit. Unless
True.
unless you don't sign any new players
Oh,
or you don't hit any home runs. And that's the team that we're going to talk about today. That's the key to the game that we are bringing you today. We are talking about everyone's least favorite NL Central team currently at the moment, the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to St. Louis, boys. Welcome to the Gateway City.
All right.
We're here. I was gonna say twice, but it might only be once. I've definitely been once, and I've been to Busch Stadium too, and seen
Ooh.
Cardinals game. We'll actually tell a fun story about that in a sec. Actually, let's talk about it right now. Nash. So we were what? This was the inaugural year of Busch Stadium,
I'm gonna guess
2004,
six. I'll guess
6.
six. I'll guess
2006,
six.
Andrew read
I'm
the
on it. I'm
document.
on it. I'm on it. No,
2006.
I swear to God, I did not. That was just off the cuff. I just know stuff.
Well
2006
done.
because I looked it up last night.
Yes.
I don't
Uh,
just ask me. You don't even need
we'll
to look it up.
we'll learn more about Busch Stadium here in a sec, but we were in St. Louis in 2006 on a little spring break trip. So it was probably almost exactly 18 years ago? 19 years ago?
Almost
Ugh,
20.
ugh,
Almost
That's
20.
ugh,
that would have been 19 years ago is
ugh.
when we
Stop
were
saying
there.
it.
But well, I'm gonna say some stuff that's gonna expose us even further. We were outside of the stadium. We didn't have tickets to the Cardinals game. We were just there to maybe look in the team shop or anything. But unfortunately, we couldn't get into the team shop because there was a game going on. So, what do we do? Well, we're gonna at least walk around the stadium to see what's up here. And we do, and we go through one of the gates, and there's just nobody there. This would not happen in today's day and age. But there is nobody there blocking the gate. And we're like, well, let's just see if we can walk right up. And I mean, we're 10, you're 8, and our parents are with us. And they're like, yeah, whatever, we're just going to try it. And we did. And we got into the Cardinals game. And we watched like the last, I want to say it was 2.5 innings, maybe. Almost
That
getting
sounds right.
smoked by a foul ball, too. And we just snuck into the game. So shout out.
Did you
Yeah, we took home some souvenirs. We went to the team shop. We got some mini bats, some balls, some
Oh
hats.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we came out alive, unscathed, and we lived to tell about it. So we snuck into a St. Louis Cardinals game in the inaugural year. We snuck into
Wow.
a St. Louis Cardinals game.
were you at least wearing red or just were you do you
We
remember
might
were
have
you
been
wearing
wearing
Brewers
Brewers
gear?
stuff.
Yeah,
Just wearing Brewers
that's
gear?
a great question.
Maybe.
I don't know if there's any photo evidence out there. We'll have to do some research
Hmm.
next time we're at our parents' house, but I can't recall what we were wearing. Probably not red.
Yeah, unless it
Probably
was
not
like
red.
Wisconsin
Yeah,
stuff, but either way,
Right.
maybe.
we do I do have a small affinity, and this is like prime Cardinals too.
Yeah. The last time they were
They
good.
Hmm.
yes, they won the World Series 2006.
I think we saw an Albert Pujols home run,
We may have seen an Albert Pujols home run.
if
I'm
I'm
telling you,
remembering
we
correctly.
saw Albert Pujols. We saw just like the exact Cardinals team that you would picture when you think about like the Cardinals team that was fun to play with in video games growing up. That was the team we saw.
For
And
sure.
it was fun. It was a memory that I won't forget, except what we were wearing.
Well, you have to have pictures of the day, right? You can at least look back on pictures.
We'll
Somewhere.
have
There's
to
got to be
find some
one
pictures
somewhere. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. And since then, yes, the Cardinals have won a World Series, but have been is disappointing the right word to say over the past pretty decent amount of years. Um,
Especially over the last two.
yeah, definitely over the last two, but I would say they've been a good team, not a great team. They've been like just looking at their team stats, I guess. It's one of the most boring charts to look at. Like for example, let's take a look at their team batting average. They're batting 240 or they batted 248 last year, which is 8th in the league. That's pretty good. You would think, right? Well, they
Yep.
were below 20th in both runs and home runs, and their OBP was 14th, and their slugging was 19th. So out
Oof.
of the five main hitting stats, they had only two in the top 15. Yeah. And
It's
somehow,
crazy.
somehow they managed to finish 83 and 79 and in second place in the NL Central last year. So, first thoughts here about the Cardinals. What stands out to you about them last year, this year? Why are they such a boring team this year? I can't think of a better word to describe them.
It's to me, it's they're doing a reset. So in case you haven't been following the Cardinals, they did make a big splash a couple years ago. They signed Nolan Arenado. I know we might have been even recording at the time, or I know it blew up our text chat. Cardinals got Arenado. It's over. Like they're coming for the Brewers. It's and then they got Goldschmidt. I think very soon after that. The Goldschmidt Arenado era
This is
in
gold.
St. Louis
Go ahead, go ahead.
actually over. The Cardinals are they claim to be in the middle of a reset, but they again they to start this offseason, they did not offload the players that they needed to. Uh, they still have Arenado. And in fact, one of the teams that was most likely a destination for them in the Boston Red Sox, they just signed Bregman. We just talked about this. And now they're stuck with a massive contract of an aging player. While not just that, they have to pay the man. They also, by keeping him on the roster, one of their amazing prospects, young players, is now going to miss out on an MLB spot. They're going to have to remain in the minors. And it's not just him. Like if you look at their bullpen, they have all of these veteran guys that just are on these weird contracts that they're going to be free agents soon, and they're not trading them. They haven't found a way to offload them. And they talk about this youth resurgence in their team, but they're kind of weighed down like rocks with these dinosaurs that are just surrounding them. And I don't mean to call Arnado a dinosaur. He'll be a great piece if someone adds him, but their management is just terrible. At the player mix that they have just does not make any sense to me. And because it's this weird mix of youth with a few veterans that are kind of acting like weights, keeping the team down. That I think until they're gone, I'm sorry, Cardinals 2025, it's not looking good.
Dang. That
Yeah, it
that was this is supposed to be the intro and you just went in on the Cardinals. Quick,
it
real quick correction. Goldschmidt was 2019, I believe, and Arenado was 2021. So both
Mm.
before we were recording. Unfortunately, doesn't matter. Definitely still blew up the group chat. And yeah, you mentioned both of them. You mentioned Goldschmidt, Arenado. Obviously, Goldschmidt's now gone. Arenado is still with the team. They haven't traded. Obviously, I say that again, but Goldschmidt's already gone. You can't trade someone who's already gone. Arenado hasn't been traded yet. He's only getting older. Granted, his defense is fantastic, but still, what's happening with them? Nash, what do you think?
it kind of feels like they're doing what the Brewers have actually done successfully in that they're not doing a rebuild. They wouldn't classify it as a rebuild. They're not the Miami Marlins, where they're rebuilding. They're like Andrew said, the perfect word is they're doing a reset. They're kind of refiltering
Trying.
their organization. But it's not really working. They're trying to stay competitive while also allowing some of their young prospects to start to grow into the major leagues. But it's leading to some very mediocre teams. 83 and 79 is perfectly mediocre. It's never going to be good enough to make the playoffs. And they're kind of stuck with some veterans, like you said, and then trying to mix in some young guys. Some teams that works great, but you have to have a good core to kind of incorporate some of these young guys into. They don't really have that core anymore. They kind of did over the last couple of years, but at this point they really don't. We'll get into it more when we look at some of their additions or lack thereof, and more importantly, at their departures. They lost a lot and they didn't do a lot to replace. So they're kind of it feels like they're in limbo. They're teetering on rebuilding, kind of incorporating some of these young guys, these question marks, seeing what they can do, and being stuck with some of these old guys that they probably should trade or figure something else out to do with. So I'll be very curious to see what their first half of the season looks like, and then come trade deadline, are they going to try and dump some of these players that they probably should get rid of?
And not just that, they don't have money. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's reported that their new TV contract is 25% less for the team than their old
Whoa.
one. So they took a 25% cut on that. And it's reported that they're estimating lower ticket sales and lower just sales of merch this year. So they're financially in a very bad position too. And they're trying to Josh, like you said, they're trying to build up from the youth, but they don't have any money. They don't have any. They're not the Cubs. They're not the Dodgers. I don't know.
Anticipating jersey sales to be low this year. They didn't do anything.
Deserved.
Yeah, everyone's got
Deserved.
to. Yeah, everyone's got an
If
Arenado
you
jersey.
If I
again,
want, yeah,
if
exactly.
we
I
if
want a Goldschmidt
we
jersey.
we could have a whole probably 5 podcast episodes talking about the financials that go into baseball. But from the surface, if you want people to invest in your team, you need to invest in your team as the owner, right? So if you're not going to put the money into your team in the offseason, why should the fans buy tickets? Why should the fans buy players' jerseys when you yourself are not investing in the team? It's a weird place to be in for this team. And again, like you said, the future is interesting, and I don't think it's interesting in a good way.
Well, let's talk about that then. You mentioned the future. And they do have some future. Like, for
They do.
example, the number one prospect, in my opinion, that I'm looking forward to the most, I could say. He might not be the number one prospect on your lists that you're reading. He might be. But the number one person that I'm looking forward to personally watching on the Cardinals is Masyn Winn,
Mm,
who's only
yep.
23, and he's only had about a year of MLB service time, so he's coming into his sophomore year. And his defense was really, really good. Guess what?
So good.
He had a 3.5 WAR last year. That's nothing to be messed with. Is it All-Star stats? Is it Hall of Fame stats? No, but it was the highest on the team.
Yeah.
Or sorry,
It's awesome.
it's the highest projected on the team is what I should say. This is for the next year. I'm looking at my wrong stats here. I have my
Mm,
stats backwards. He is projected the highest WAR of 3.5 um, on the Cardinals this year. Yet again, not necessarily going to send him to the All-Star game, but you look at like a player like Nolan Arenado, who has a projected WAR of 3.2 this year, and who is arguably has better defense and has proven to had better offense.
true.
Has been proven to have had better offense. Man, that's tough to say. Um, yeah, strange looking into their future. Jordan
But
Walker is someone that comes to my mind who, again, he was a first round pick, huge, hyped up prospect, and hasn't really done that much in the majors so far. Has been a bit of a letdown so far, and it would be nice to see him get going too. Especially, it would be nice to see these rookies get going because they lost a lot of people this offseason. The Cardinals did. Like a lot.
he
Um,
did.
a lot. Number one, it's got to be Goldie. It's got to be Goldie going to the Yankees. Huge MVP winner in the past, and losing that bat in your lineup, no matter how slow his start was to the previous season. Didn't we see him hit a home run, Nosh? With that game we went to, we were like, "Oh, Goldschmidt sucks. He's having a bad season," and then he hit a home run
Yep, that sounds right.
because we were at a Cardinals game for sure,
Mm.
which they ended up winning. But yeah,
I
That's
mean,
huge.
yeah,
And what are they going to do about losing Goldschmidt? Nothing. They didn't do anything about losing
I'll tell you
Goldschmidt.
what
All
they're
Whoa,
right.
gonna
I
do.
don't
All
know.
right. What are they going to do?
They're moving their
Yeah,
catcher,
yeah,
Wilson
we
Contreras,
got to
to
talk about
first
this.
base.
Yeah,
That's what they're doing.
which honestly, though, if you look back, we've been a little bit hard on the Cardinals to start. I'm gonna
Too
take the
bad.
side. I think that's actually a smart move. Wilson Contreras did not play the entirety of last season. He got injured. Catching is very hard on your body. Try holding a squat for 3 hours. That's really hard. I think he's going to do well at first. He doesn't need to do much. And to be honest, in a lineup that needs a bat, they haven't had a 30 home run hitter in the last 2 seasons. He was on pace for it last season, but he got hurt. I think moving him first keeps him healthy all season. I think it's actually a great move. And they even have some catching prospects that are pretty exciting too. But that alone, I think that's a fine move from me at least.
I think it'd be a
Man.
better move if they had a catcher that was more established. Like you said, Ivan Herrera has a chance to be a pretty decent baseball player, but I don't think he's necessarily proven himself yet. And it sounds like they're going to do a little bit more of a platoon, kind of switching off catchers. So again, it would be a good move, but they don't really have a catcher in place right now.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking Ivan Herrera and we're talking Pedro Pajes, Pedro Pajes has played about, oh, I don't know, 30 games so far in the MLB. And Ivan Herrera's played a single year pretty much so far. Not that much MLB experience for all or at all for these guys. Whereas we have Wilson Contreras, who's been in the league for plenty of years now, has experience as a catcher, is now completely getting rid of that role, which we've already kind of seen with him taking over more of a DH role in the past. Yeah, it's a strange, there's a lot of strange positions that the Cardinals have going on right now. Catcher is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and going off that, I think some of their bigger losses, Goldschmidt's a big loss, didn't have a great season last year, and another player that's getting older. But I think some of their bigger losses are on their pitching staff. Last year, a lot of
Mhm.
question marks. They had a very veteran type of pitching staff. A lot of players that were maybe on the downslope, but still some pretty great names on their roster in terms of pitchers. But they lost some pretty big names. They lost Lance Lynn to free agency, Andrew Kittridge
Yep.
to free agency, and Kyle Gibson to free agency as well. Three pitchers that ate up a lot of innings for them last year. And again, who is taking over those innings that you feel good or confident about? Because I'm not really seeing a lot of names on this list. Are we relying on Sonny Gray to throw what, 175, 200 innings this year? I don't feel very confident about that. And if I were the Cardinals, I probably wouldn't feel very good about it either.
Yeah. And I mean, I have Eric Freddie on my list to tease me, but honestly, though, I think they should trade him. So to your point, I don't know who's gonna be throwing for the Cardinals outside of their bullpen. Maybe they just don't have a starter. Maybe they'll ask Wilson Contreras to pitch for them. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't
Outgetters.
know. Maybe they'll just maybe they'll just find some people off the street and sign them during spring training this year. Who knows? But yeah, I think their downfall this year will not be their bats. I think it's gonna be their arms.
Okay. Not be their okay, so let me give you a quick fact about their
Ooh,
bats real quick. Of their
yeah.
projected starting 9 offensive players here, they have a combined, this is right, combined 31 years of MLB experience. 19 years of that is from Wilson Contreras and from Nolan Arenado, meaning that 7 other players combined for just 12 years of MLB experience so far for the Cardinals. Is that not
Crazy.
insane?
Insane.
So I don't think their arms are going to be great. I agree, but I don't think their bats are that either.
They got a new hitting coach though. Do
They
you see
do
that?
have a
They
new
signed.
hitting coach.
That's gonna be some life, but maybe they'll
Um,
take a step. They'll take a step forward.
Jacob,
I don't know.
to go off of your point and to balance out the Cardinals organization, a super young projected starting lineup going into the year. How about this for ages of their projected starting pitching staff? Sonny Gray, 35. Eric Fetty, 32. Miles Mikolas, 36. Andre Palante, 26. Hey, young guy. Steven Matz, 33. So a very old pitching staff. So maybe they're going young bats, old arms, and that's going to somehow work for them. Perfect harmony. I don't know.
good thing Wayno's not coming back for another year.
He'd bring up the age. He'd bring up the average age big time.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. There's not much more to say, I guess, about the rookies of the Cardinals because okay. Let's talk about let's make fun of them.
Nolan Gorman.
What's up?
Is Nolan Gorman gonna be? Is he gonna be my Manoa this year? Is he gonna be back?
He he's projected to start on the bench. So let's see if he can earn himself a place starting again. Maybe he'll go to a little DH spot there for him. But I don't know. I don't know, man.
Let's quickly touch on some of the additions. I'll throw some names out there. We'll talk about it. To be honest with you, in researching for this week, looking into the Cardinals, I was scrolling through their offseason transactions, and I thought it was a mistake. I thought I was missing a name. Like I'm like, surely they signed somebody, right? The two names that I recognized outside of invites to a minor or major league camp were Bailey Horn, who is not even projected to start in the majors, probably have to work his way up from the minors, and Ryan Vilade from the Rockies, who was a non-roster invitee, and there's a chance he doesn't even make the big league roster out of spring training. Outside of that, I struggled to find names that I even recognized. So for my third player, I put a bunch of question marks because yeah, I struggled majorly to find any sort of relevant name that the Cardinals signed. I don't know if you guys found anything, but it was a not a pretty sight doing this research.
No, most of the blogs had him the same, literally the same roster that exited 2014 or 2014. Geez, off by 10 years. Off
Mm,
exited last year is
they
going to
wish.
start the year with them. Yeah, they wish they could reset. The other thing that's not a player that we haven't talked about, their manager. All of the articles I read that were written right after the season ended were like, he's going to be gone, surely, this offseason. There's no way he stays around. Well, Mr. Oli Marmol, you still have a job, sir. Opening day, he's going to be the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. And what's crazy about it, he's essentially a lame duck coach at this point. I believe, general manager and several other executives, their contract expires at the end of the season. So rather than clean house with a new manager, they're waiting to just get rid of everyone at the end of the 2025 season. So, and all of this with the players aside, you have a manager who's just, I don't know, showing up every day. You have GM executives that are just waiting, collecting their paycheck. I don't know. But that's who's supposed to be wheeling and dealing these players. That's who's supposed to be developing this new talent. I don't know. I think if the Cardinals don't do well, if their three core don't take a step forward, I think you blame the owner. I think you blame management. I don't think you blame the players because this is not a problem that they created.
It will be very interesting to see what happens on the management side for the Cardinals after 2025 as I'm not entirely up to date on what's happening with the contracts, but long story short, the current GM or the current president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, is stepping down and is being
Great.
replaced by Keim. It might be Heim Bloom, the young guy, the young,
Mm.
good-looking guy is going to come in just like David Stearns did for the Brewers and is going to turn things around. for the Cardinals. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens after that. You're right. Maybe Ole makes it through the rest of the season and then they just clear house. I could see that totally happening. Maybe that's why he's still there in the first place. Who knows?
I
But
feel like we're being harsh, but I think we're being real and we're giving you the facts, and it's not pretty.
It's not. It's not. And when you look at the outstanding or the outlook, sorry, for 2025 and what the Cardinals are projected to do, they're only projected to win 78 games.
that's a lot. That's
That's
more than I would guess.
that's less than that's 5 less than last year. That's a
You know,
below 500 average. That's below St. Louis Cardinals standard. That's below Tony La Russa, Yadier Molina, Albert Pujols. That's below their standard. That's really bad for the Cardinals. Plus 13,000 to win the World Series. Plus 1,000 to win the Central. The Cubs
is
were
that
plus 125 or 150.
they were minus when I checked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they might be a little higher now that
I
Bregman
think the
signed, but who
Cardinals
knows?
had the second worst odds.
That's
I think,
crazy.
and it wasn't that far off from being the worst odds to win the Central. So again, feels like we're being harsh, but
Well,
the odds
I got
makers, Vegas is on our side.
guys, we love closers on this podcast.
We
We
do.
haven't talked about the one bright spot in the St. Louis Cardinals. He had a 49 game save season. Mr. Ryan Helsley, put some respect on that name. He probably was better than Devin last year. He definitely was. Objectively, statistically, every other way, he wouldn't have given up that home run to Pete Alonso. He might be the best closer in the Central. We've been every episode we've declared that team's closer, the best closer in the Central. But guys, I think I'm finally done saying it. I think after this episode, although David Bednar is pretty cool, I think I'm finally done saying it. I think Ryan Helsley is the best closer in the NL Central. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? Were we wrong before?
I don't know. I think if we're looking at last year, you can't you gotta think about Devin Williams, man. But Helsley had 49 saves.
Yeah, I thought that was a typo when I
Wow.
said it and wrote it down.
I think we need to let the closers play out their position and see what happens this year before we just call every single closer in the league the best closer in the league.
Well,
That
in the
being
Central, in the
said,
Central.
we have to give a shout out to Nosh and Craig Yoho, who was brought up today by John Boy Media, digging deep and talking about our single A baller, who's now in double A, I believe, playing for
Let's go.
Nashville. But
Triple A,
single A, triple A, sorry, yeah, triple A. Started off in the Timber Rattler system, which is sick. Just like Mike Fires. But yeah, got a shout out on other podcasts. Pretty notable one as well. Yeah, Ryan Helsley, he's good too, though. Long story short, he's good, and he's probably the best player on the Cardinals roster. Him and Arenado are the ones, if you're going old school, they're the ones you got to keep an eye out for sure. But yeah, what do you guys think? 2025, I got the Brewers winning. I got the Cubs in third. I think I got the Cardinals in fourth.
Dead last.
Woo!
Oh,
Dead freaking last. I think
ooh.
Freddie's gone at the All-Star break if they're smart. I think Arnado's gone at the All-Star break if they're smart. I think they just offload everyone. I think it's a bad year to be a St. Louis Cardinal, but maybe the rest of the 2020s will be a little bit brighter.
Yeah, Jacob, I think I agree fourth, but I'm taking the under on 78 wins all day long. That's free money.
Yeah, can I bet that? I might go bet that. Shout out to
It
DraftKings.
is. You absolutely can.
I'll
Shout out
put
to
my money where my
DraftKings,
mouth.
our sponsor. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Bad transition. Good transition time. Hey, Are you tired of boring old sports betting like you're doing right now currently, Andrew? Well, you should take a look at Sorare MLB and sign up using our affiliate link in the description below. Because if you did, you will get $50 in market credit to not just sports bet and click a couple buttons, but instead build an actual team of your dreams. You can go ahead and buy yourself some Cardinals or maybe stay away from them this year, besides maybe a few arms in the bullpen. Or go ahead and build your favorite team no matter who you're trying to or what you're trying to compete for. But if you are trying to compete, you can go ahead and win fun prizes such as cash, other cards, merchandise, tickets, and more. So, again, if you want something new to try out on your fantasy sports side of things, check out Sorare MLB and use our affiliate link in the description. Now, we've ragged on the Cardinals here for 40 minutes, but give me a player that you're going to buy this year
Hmm.
on Sorare that currently plays for the Cardinals. Go.
You know me. I love the guys that go down to the minors that everyone writes off as bad. If I don't, Nolan Gorman is the most Andrew so rare player out there. I love betting on guys. I love betting on people to make a comeback. Nolan Gorman, easy. He's gonna be my. He's the new Manoa. Even though he's a Cardinal, I'm rooting for him.
I'm going with one of my favorite names in the MLB. Going to more of a collectability standpoint. Collecting cards, Silver MLB. Check it out. I'm going Lars Nootbaar
Okay.
solely for the name. I think he'll
Solely
have
for the
it.
That's a
name.
fun name.
Hey,
I think he'll actually be usable in Silver. I think he's gonna have an okay season, but the name brings him up a bit.
Lars Nootbaar is a fantastic name. He's a fun player to watch too. He's a career like 250 hitter, so maybe not your best so rare player. Personally, I am going on the defensive side of things, and I'm going for a player who's a little bit older, but I'm going for Sonny. He's
Ooh,
35.
nice.
He's going to turn 36 this year. But that's kind of what you want in a pitcher. That's he's still got a few more years, a few more good years left in him, and as long as he can stay healthy, he's a really good pitcher. And since he's a little bit older, he'll probably be a little bit on the cheaper side. Don't be surprised if Sonny puts up a 3 ERA this year and does hit that 175, 180 inning mark. I wouldn't be. So if I'm buying a Cardinals player, that's who I'm getting. I'm getting Sonny. But there you go. That's who we're getting on So Rare that play for the Cardinals. Believe it or not, we just said some good things about some Cardinals players right there. We did it.
And Ryan Helsley. Get a Ryan Helsley too. I'll throw one in there too. He's gonna be their all star. I'll just say that.
He's
Good
gonna
show.
be their all-star, and they're only one. Are the Cardinals gonna be a one and doneer for all-star players?
No,
Oh,
they got a new hitting coach.
you're hitting coach.
New hitting coach, same manager, doesn't work. Oil and water.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
But oh, go
Nosh,
ahead.
we talked about it earlier and our fun little adventure of sneaking into Busch Stadium. But why don't you tell us about the new and improved Busch Stadium?
Yeah.
Oh, it's new.
So, something that I don't know if a lot of people know, I didn't necessarily know this, but the original place where the Cardinals played was also called Busch Stadium. They played there from 1966 to 2005. It is now referred to as Busch Memorial Stadium because their new stadium, which we already talked about, that opened in 2006, is Busch Stadium. It was built just a few blocks away from the old stadium. The old stadium is no longer there. But Busch Stadium is one of the better stadiums in the MLB, in my opinion. It has a great backdrop. I love stadiums that are right in a city. So you get the city skyline, and probably the most unique feature of the backdrop is the St. Louis Gateway Arch that sits right over left center field. It's a pretty unique view, so I'd highly recommend checking out a Cardinals game if you are ever in St. Louis. It's awesome. Or if you're ever in St. Louis, go up into the arch because you can do that, and you can actually see all the Busch Stadium from the top of the arch, which is pretty cool. Coming from someone who's afraid of heights, I enjoyed it, and I did it twice. So get out there, go do it. Um, Another cool feature of the stadium is the left field area that is referred to as Big Mac Land. Not the McDonald's Big Mac, but Mr. Mark McGwire, who broke a home run single season record, 70 home runs, a lot of them going into left field at Busch Stadium. So they named left field Big Mac Land. Pretty fun thing that they did there. Mark McGwire, we could get into that, but we'll just respect what he did for the game of baseball and not some of the steroid stuff. Did you know? Two fun facts for you. There was two world records set at Busch Stadium, neither of which have anything to do with baseball. The first one being
What?
that the world record for the most selfies taken simultaneously happened at Busch Stadium. It was set up, nothing to do with baseball. There was no baseball game going on. Just happened to take place at Busch Stadium. The other one is even more random. It was the largest image of a human brain ever created. It was some it was something for some brain society promoting research in brain cancer, I want to say. I think it was in 2018 or 19. And there was over 1,200 people in the outfield creating a colorful depiction of a human brain. A world record.
Wow.
The more you know.
The biggest brain. The largest
Biggest
image.
brain. The largest image of a human brain.
of human
That's crazy
brain.
world record.
Right?
And you know what? I hope it doesn't get broken. I want that record to stand if it's for a good cause. Although there's lots of stuff we don't know about the brain. Maybe if we have bigger images, maybe that would help. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
This is
right.
that's
it's
a
just
crazy that's a
people.
crazy fun
It's
fact.
just
It's
it's
just
just
people.
people.
Yeah, it's just people. I also forgot to mention that. Did you know the first game at the new Busch Stadium was against the Milwaukee Brewers?
Of course it was.
Are you
Did we
shocked
win?
that? I actually did not look that up, but are you shocked that the first Cardinal to hit a home run at the new stadium was
Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols in the third inning?
Yeah, shout out to him. Oh, one
Uh,
one personal anecdote I have about Busch Stadium. This is secondhand knowledge through my wife. She recently went to St. Louis on a friend's trip, and there is a bar connected to Busch Stadium. You do not have to have a ticket to enter on game days, but it has an immaculate view of the game itself. So if you don't want to pay for a ticket, you don't have to have a ticket to see the game. There's a bar in center field. It's connected to the street. Still amazing views of the whole game, and you're at a bar without stadium upcharges. So pretty good experience overall. But if you're a baseball fan, you gotta say you've been to every ballpark. I don't know if that counts, but if you're just a casual, if you're just passing through St. Louis, don't have time to get tickets, there's a bar. Go check it out. I'll track down the name, put it in the description.
Uh April 10th, 2006, the Cardinals defeated the Milwaukee
Of course
Brewers
they did.
6-4.
Ben
oh,
Sheets was Ben Sheets the pitcher?
I didn't go that far,
Ooh, I bet you it's Ben
but
Sheets.
the 2006 Brewers were probably not an amazing baseball team. Let's be honest.
Hey, 2 years away from a wild card win though.
True, very true. The makings were there.
They finished fourth in the NL Central. A 75.
Very,
Okay, so they won 75 games. We think this Cardinals team is gonna be worse than the 2006 Milwaukee Brewers.
yes, under.
Oh my gosh, he's hammering it, hammering it.
let me riddle you this. That year, the Cardinals won the World Series. Their record after a game was canceled, 83 and 78. The exact record that they had last
Wow,
year minus the
Wow.
game that was canceled.
Wow.
So,
that's crazy.
there you go. St. Louis
Cardinals
Cardinals
World Series this year? Plus 13,000?
plus 13,000. You know what you should do? Put down $1 for every time you said something bad against the Cardinals this episode. Put down $1 on them to win the World Series.
Hmm.
I would
It's a
owe a lot.
waste.
I would owe a
Waste.
lot. I said some
Yeah.
bad things about the Cardinals this episode.
I think we're objectively critical as journalists.
Yes.
We needed
Objective.
to have
Journalists.
Objectively
yes.
critical.
I feel
Yes,
like
as journalists.
other people should determine if you're a journalist. You don't get to determine if you're a journalist.
That's a deep thought.
Anyways.
Are we a podcaster?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Or a
podcaster, you can
podcaster.
just plug a mic in and then you're a podcaster. Whereas
Yes.
journalist, you have to have integrity or something.
Exactly. As a
Integrity.
podcaster, you can just say whatever you want and have no repercussions.
It's true.
Well,
I don't know about
We
that.
got 3 seasons of batting practice. Anyways, pickle time, boys. I think we guessed players that either only play on the Cardinals or previously played on the Cardinals.
Mm.
oh, okay.
So a little like immaculate grid pickle action. So like
Goldschmidt.
yeah.
You're gonna go a non-cardinal first? Wow.
Yeah, bro.
Sure.
Why not?
Well, then we can get the age out of the way too.
It
All right.
could be the
It
Cardinals.
could be NL Central. It could be Victor Scott.
The third, right?
I think he's the second.
This is the second.
Oh, he's
it's
lefty
not.
lefty. I thought he was lefty righty for some reason. It's not the
Oh, so
Cardinals,
he's a switch hitter.
unfortunately. Oh, it's a
hitter?
switch hitter in the
Oh, that's
in the,
pretty fun.
in the NL West
NL West. NL West.
that also plays for the Cardinals.
Did AJ McCarthy is he a switch hitter?
Who?
JJ McCarthy is the
Mhm.
quarterback for the
Vikings.
Vikings.
Am I thinking of Jake McCarthy?
Jake McCarthy
Jake McCarthy.
played for the Diamondbacks, I want to
Yeah,
say.
I think he's like a
Yeah.
lefty.
Yeah, I'm okay. He's not a switch.
Is-
I think we've ditched the Cardinal idea already. He's also from the USA. How about just signed
Mhm.
today, Perdomo?
Mm.
I don't know if he's a switch. Yeah, just signed today.
Wow.
Count it.
Wow.
That technically counts as only guessing Cardinals players.
Wow. Wow.
Switch
Yeah,
hitter.
raise
He's
down.
in the news. He literally. I can open up Instagram right now, and go. Let's see. Okay. Just scroll down.
While you're looking, I have a fungible of the week. It's Geraldo Perdomo. This
Oh,
card is
There
a
we go.
photo
You knew.
variation. There's only 100 copies of this exact card in the world.
2 hours ago,
Wow.
signed a 4-year, $45 million deal, according to
Wow.
John Heyman. That's why he was the pickle. That's crazy that he was the pickle as of like today, and then also signed a contract today because the pickle
Crazy.
happened before the
It's like they
contract.
knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew.
They knew. MLB Pickle knows. It's like Andrew.
Should we start the pickle conspiracy theory?
Ooh.
God.
He's a 6 average Sorare player. I looked him up. That's all right. I
Not
think
bad.
he's
I
got
have
room
his
to
so
grow.
rare card. I
There you
use
go.
it.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Well, there you have
You
it,
know,
Jacob. You nailed
when the
it.
Diamondbacks have
That
a lot of
counts.
games,
Yeah,
that's a great shout.
absolutely.
NL West, baby. We'll get to them soon enough.
Well, Jacob, good answer. Good shot. Andrew, shout out to you for winning the Agents of Chaos. Excellent
Yeah.
answers as well. There you have it, the Cardinals. Let us know what you think about the Cardinals' upcoming season, the outlook for the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Sorry if
were
you're a
we
Cardinals
too
fan.
hard? Were we too
Yeah.
hard? We could have been
Yeah.
nicer.
Yeah, if you're a
No.
Cardinals fan, sorry.
No. If you read all the Bleeding Red blog, the bloggers are they're
Not
not happy
happy.
with this team
Not
either.
happy.
No,
So
they're
I
not
think
happy.
I think
No, I
they'll
think we're
agree with
preaching to the
us.
choir.
Yeah, I think you're right. be on the lookout for next week where we dive into another NL Central team. We haven't decided Reds or Pirates, so we'll see next week.
Surprise.
Surprise. Don't forget to leave a rating wherever you're listening to our podcast. Thank you for all your support on last week's episode about the Brewers. We appreciate it greatly. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go follow the TikTok account as well. Posting on there now. Be on the lookout for that. And until next week, you just attended batting practice. Now you ready to get in the game. Peace.
Peace.